sitting here watching this stream today, you cannot underestimate how ahead of the curve you are right now.
Bitcoin looks tired. Altcoins look hungry.
I'm just not quite sure that Bitcoin has any more sauce.
I still think this thing is really worth a lot more than it is.
This stuff's spooky, man. These chaos PRZs are intense.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Solana is highly performant and has the team with the experience to support it.
$4,800 Ethereum. That's a big, big move here.
So whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to DeltaFi. Thank you for sticking around. That was actually just a test. So you pass. If you're still watching, I see 43 of you stuck around out of the 95. You guys win. We got Rob Levy dialing in from a hostage situation. And we've got Crypto Messiah coming in hot without his key lights. We're just having a day today. Now, I was thinking about this on the weekend because I read a comment. Actually, it was a DM, and it was somebody that was giving me some shit about my internet or some audio issues. And like, look, feedback's appreciated. Productive, feedback is appreciated. But it got me going on like one of those internal rants. And I was just thinking to myself, like, bro, we're not really content creators in the broader sense of the term. We're not like all these YouTube channels that come out and they make money from the content they're creating, and they're professionals and they hire all these people. We're literally just bros who are in the market on the grind, seeing what we see. I don't know about you guys, but I don't get paid to do this stream. Like none of us do. We're pulling time out of our day, and we love you guys and appreciate every one of you. But just take it easy on old RT when we get a little technical difficulties, because every time I do this stream, the amount of fluctuation in my portfolio when I could otherwise just be trading, oh baby, sometimes like last Wednesday in particular, it stung. And then I read that comment and I was like, so welcome back, guys. Love having you guys here, and I'm gonna pass the mic here. What do you guys got?
I love it. The level of cope with your technical difficulties right out of the gate is tremendous.
Rob did his best to fuck me up here without his green screen today too.
I love it. Yeah, it's like, Rob, blink twice if you're okay.
He's in. He went through the airport with some hash in his butt, and now they're searching him. He's in the room. He's waiting for them to come.
You kind of do look like airport security grays right now.
It does.
Is that like do they make those like a suppository? I wonder how that hits. If that hits like quickly.
Okay. Well, look, I think I actually told this story one time. During a shitcoin church. But when I was 18, I went to a small private school, and we had a project week for our senior trip. And I took Latin. It was based on like what languages you were taking. There's different options, but we went to Spain with the Spanish students because there's a lot of Roman history and relics and stuff like that in Spain. Anyway, we're 18. We're going to Spain. The drinking age is 18. We're trying to party, right? We're gonna get lit. We're gonna get fucked up. And one of like my buddies kept talking about the hash in Spain. The hash is so good. You got to get the hash. Blah blah blah. So my buddy went out in search of the hash, right? And he found some, and he came back and he was so excited. And it was wrapped up in cellophane. And he came in the room and he was like, dude, I got us some hash. Like, dude, just smell it, bro. It smells crazy. It smells crazy, dude. And we're like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Like, yeah, come on, like, put it under my nose. So he stuffs this under my nose. And I'm like, like, damn, dude. Like, what the fuck? And he was like, dude, I know, isn't it dank? And I said, no, dude, that smells like shit. Like,
butt hash.
It smells like a butthole. And it was shaped. Literally, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a 9mm bullet, but it was shaped like the top of a 9mm bullet and wrapped in cellophane. And it had legitimately been in a man's asshole. It had. Look, it was wrapped up, so it was protected, but it retained the smell. It smelled like straight asshole. And you know what? Yeah, we smoked it anyway. And we
Wow,
got
that's like,
Well, I mean, I'm sure it probably still does the trick, right? But
well, you know, it's
but
the
hash is a
heat.
thing.
The heat kills the bacteria. And,
there's
you know,
science. There's science there. Speaking of buttholes,
some science behind it.
Bitcoin is right down in the butthole of this range, right in the deep creases of the RLZ, where for a few months I was getting, like I'm a bear vibes because of this fail here, and I just thought, okay, I'll start DCing here. Obviously, in Miami during this week, didn't buy any. I did pick up, in a weird way, I actually didn't pick up Bitcoin. I just pulled some from Try Crypto 3 and then like moved some of that cash into Bitcoin. So more just like getting out of the hedge that was, or Try Crypto 2. So yeah, I picked up some exposure this week. What are you guys seeing? I mean, the big question on everyone's mind should be, bear market over? Like, is this the bad year? Is this the end of the pain? I know what I think based on TA, Rob, but what do you think?
I think we've crawled out of the actual butthole, and we're probably closer to the taint. We're in like that nether region, not quite still in the rectum, but we've come out. And the thing that annoys me the most is that we are basically trading the NASDAQ for the last 3 weeks. And it's like almost tick for tick. There's been a couple little periods where it's diverged a little bit, but Bitcoin itself, and then a lot of the alts have followed. There's obviously been some alts that have outperformed tremendously, but that's been a handful. But it's been like trading the NASDAQ the last 3 weeks, ever since this, it's more of this taper tantrum, this macro shift in, oh my God, QE's done. They're going to be, not only are they going to be tapering, but then the Fed minutes say that they're actually going to be contracting the balance sheet and the world's going to end. And, I'm not as scared. But the bottom line is there's a shift, and you're not necessarily trading the present when you're looking at these markets. You're trading expectations. And, we saw it this morning. People were worried that the inflation number was going to be a little hot, which would be higher than kind of what people were expecting. And when it wasn't, it was kind of in line. Maybe it was a touch hot. People's fears were relieved, and
Rob, what's really interesting though, they reweighted the index so the print wouldn't be super high. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, I was reading about it.
I didn't see that, but what was interesting was, remember on that a couple weeks ago when like Joe Biden and the White House put out this announcement, like they kind of telegraphed that this upcoming number, it was last month, is not going to be as hot. It's actually, inflation's coming down. So they telegraphed that to the market, right? And then a few days ago, they started telegraphing, like, get ready for a bad print. Get ready for a nasty print. This is going to be a big one. So, like, I got the feeling like, well, shit, what are they trying to warn us about? Like, but I didn't see that they changed it. I mean, part of why I'm in this different place today is I'm in the city. We're at the Solana Pith boot camp. It's a phenomenal event. Some of the guys we work with at Solana are putting on a fantastic educational boot camp style program for developers to really onboard and learn the programming environment for Solana. And I mean, being here, I will tell you, Monday morning when it started and we're coming off and we were still in that nasty kind of butthole that RT was talking about, kind of testing the lows. I'm sitting here looking at 100 developers here to learn, smart people from some of the best trading firms. I mean, like super sharp guys here to learn how to program on Solana. I'm like, this isn't the fucking bottom of a bear market. Like, if people saw this is bullish.
So it's not the bottom.
Yeah. Well, no.
I know what you mean, though. It's not like a depression where no one's developing and everything's dead.
Yeah, no, but I don't.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, we can argue about this and debate. Like, this is not 2018 to me. I just
No.
don't. I mean, it is such a different place that, like, I think people who personally actually like believe this is 18 and we're about to go in this fucking death spiral, I think they're probably doing themselves a disservice. But it's easy to do. They might be right. The whole market might completely go to shit. But
well, okay. So here's kind of what I've been thinking about. You guys know during the last downturn, like I definitely got in my head about that. You know, I was of that mind. You know, but as time has progressed and I've thought about this more and more and more, you know, I really think that in 2018, everywhere you looked, everything was vapor. Literally everything. There was not one thing that wasn't vapor. It was all empty promises. It was 100% greed. There were no fundamentals. There was nothing. It was just vapor.
Or there was
money.
early phase quality.
It had been
like,
created out of just thin air. Poof, you're rich, you know, go ahead. It's so much different now because even in a market downturn, there's still things that you can find that are seeing growth and seeing upside. Now, you guys know, you know, I'm really not good at anything but DeFi. That's the only thing that I'm good at, okay? And when I look at DeFi, a lot of times I see protocols, tokens rising in value alongside periods of growth. So if you're able to identify, you know, periods of growth for a DeFi protocol, then it's likely that the token is going to be rising as well, especially if the token accrues value, especially if this protocol is generating more revenue, is accumulating more users, more TVL, if it's getting traction. So I don't see how a 2018 situation can be possible. Even if the entire market is super bearish, when you do have things that no matter what the macro crypto condition is, are seeing growth and are having these underlying fundamentals improve. I still think that the biggest risks to crypto in general, period, is that dark cloud of regulation that's kind of been hanging over our heads. But you've had congressmen, and I forget where he's from. He's this old country boy. I can't remember his fucking name. He's got white hair. But
is that Tom Emmer? Tom Emmer?
Yes. But
yeah.
He tweeted a couple of days ago that, you know, keep your eyes out for some new crypto regulations, blah, 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 and then had the little eyes emoji by it. Now, he's been roasting Gary Gensler. He's been a huge advocate for treating this crypto stuff as what it should be treated as. You cannot take these old securities frameworks that were developed for a totally different asset class decades ago and apply these to digital assets. They are different, fundamentally different. Now, they do share a lot of the same characteristics, but that would just be silly. These guys know how much money is in this space. These guys know how much money in taxes that this regulated in the right way can bring. These guys know how many innovators, how many, you know, people that are going to come to the United States, that are going to build, that are going to, you know, establish this digital infrastructure, that are going to keep us in the #1 slot for innovators in the world. They're not, look, they're stupid in a lot of ways, but they're not that fucking stupid. So in my 8 years here, I've seen FUD after FUD after FUD. And some of the FUD is really good, okay? Like really, really scary, like terrifying scary. And of course, some of the FUD is real. Like when we had our Black Swan event, when China actually banned mining.
Finally actually did it.
When the market couldn't have priced that in, like that was just a punch in the mouth. Like we were like, oh, fuck. But you know what? Okay, that solved the centralization issue of mining. It took all the mining out of China. So the Chinese government lost any control they had over this. And it ended up being a net positive in, China.
But I'll tell you what, Messi, the thing about the China thing was such a big deal that there is 0% chance that the people in the know did not pound the hell out of futures, options, all of that stuff, and get the fuck out of any length they had I mean, so they were getting the hell out there. This event,
This was China, right?
right, which
Right here
to me is,
in May.
yeah, that was China. That
China.
was China. And they got the hell out. And this one, you know, wasn't really that. This, though, this was the canary in the coal mine for the NASDAQ and the S&P. Like, crypto, and I do think, you know, I like to read Arthur Hayes's blog posts. And his second to last one, he said, bottom line is crypto is the last free market on earth. Like, don't think that these equity markets and bond markets are really free. We got the central banks all over, you know, buying up every asset on earth. Like, they're the backstop. Crypto is really the last kind of free market on earth. There is no backstop here.
There is no second best.
We did see that crypto got pounded and went a lot quicker than the macro side. And at this point, if we are going to bounce here, I would not be surprised to see crypto lead the way out of it. You know, like, because we've taken a lot more pipe than traditional markets. So,
and you know, I think this is the year that we need to. I mean, we still think of, you know, crypto health in terms of Bitcoin and ETH price, and I think we still should. They're the highest market caps. It's not even close. Dominance is still dominant overall, right? One crypto is like still over 40%. But I think this is the year where you could say, like, crypto's having a good month, even if Bitcoin looks, you know, like this, but Phantom, handful of other big projects are up. I mean, we're not there yet. We still think of, like, when market go up, and we're all quietly thinking about Bitcoin, even though most of us by now figured out we should probably be trading some of these L1s on the bounces.
That's what's so interesting. Like, right now, like, once again, there's always something moving. Like,
there's always a bull somewhere. Yeah. Look at Frax. Frax is in price discovery.
It'd be a lot better if Bitcoin was going up, because then people would just shut the fuck up and they'd accept that we're risk on. You know, like,
yeah.
And everything just performs better in that alignment. When nobody's scared, when nobody's flipping out. You know what? We may very well have more downside. You know, but with that being said, I've never seen a top in Bitcoin's history look like this ever. And that doesn't mean that a top can't look like this, because, hey, that could be a top. But at the same time, when you don't have these big parabolic blow-offs, like we had distribution on that last top at the top. Right? You can see the distribution there. There's not this huge, like, retail FOMO. Like, these retail guys they're not going to get rich quick on Bitcoin anymore. And they know that. So they're coming in, they're looking for the next big opportunity. And Web3 is becoming a pretty big narrative here, you know, I think. And Web3 encompasses, you know, all this shit we're doing. You know, NFTs, play to earn, DeFi, and these L1s that have been doing so well have been allowed to grow because Ethereum just doesn't scale. Nobody's trying to pay, you know, the price of an Xbox to send an Ethereum transaction. Like, that's just fucking crazy to me.
It is insane.
Hey, look, the way I'm playing this, you know, just from here on out, like, I have enough cash to feel comfortable if this just goes down to $30,000, goes down to $20,000. I've been hearing some people saying. You know, I'm not a prophet. I can't predict the future. But one thing that I can do is I don't have to just have my dick balls deep in this market. You know, I can, you know, have half of it in and have the other half out. And you know what? If it starts going up, then I can slam it in all the way. You know, like, if the market starts going downward, then I can take some of this risk off. But what you can do to protect yourself right now is you can try to be in those markets that are showing strength. You can try to look for those protocols that do have these growth catalysts. And you can try to buy things that are reasonable valuations. You know, the game has totally changed, because it used to just be, hey, find a really good team, find a good valuation, and just buy it and just fucking wait. With so much going on now, it's much better, in my opinion, to look at the data behind these protocols. If it's a play to earn game, you know, is the player base increasing? Are more people starting to use it? And what's the rate of growth of that traction?
There are so many games.
Is the TVL increasing? What's the protocol revenue look like? Things like that. Are they increasing though? When I look at something and you might say like, oh, look at Aave, look at the PE ratio right now. It's great. Here's the thing, the PE ratio really doesn't mean jack shit, because that PE ratio might be great, but who knows when Aave is going to grow more. Whereas I could find something else, look at Curve. Curve had a terrible PE ratio, and it's been one of the hottest performers, in DeFi. It's been the only Dino DeFi coin that's performed over the last few months. So you just really, really, really need to be careful about where you are. And also, don't be fucking all in here. Have some optionality. Make sure that if we do go to 20K, once again, you can pay your fucking taxes. You don't have to sweat about that. Can you imagine, and this would be just terrible, April rolls around, you pay your estimate or taxes or whatever, but you're paying it selling shit when Bitcoin's at 28,000 bucks, and you're just super down bad, and then everything just rips after that. You'd be like, fuck, I really shot myself in the foot there. So, have that optionality, have the ability to be flexible and to not stress about what's going on right now.
Yeah, strategy-wise, that's just a given. You always want to make sure. I mean, I say it every show, and I pointed it out on Twitter the other day, like an example of it, the idea of playing from strength. And I've actually got some really nice DMs, I think, around right now, because there's a new TRI term starting, and some guys that took level 1, they're like, bro, I just wanted to thank you. I finally understand what the hell you're talking about with play from strength, being patient. And that's a gimme. You've got to take cash into the account when you're doing well. You've got to buy into some dips when things are hitting levels that you have identified. And I think, you can see it here. This was my thinking with Bitcoin. I'm not that excited about Bitcoin. I'm not really buying much here, but this is the time when I start to look at the market. Oh, I see fear, greed index, extreme fear now for 2 weeks straight. It hit 10 the other day. It hit 10, I think on Sunday or Monday. And I just thought, damn, this has to be a green week, does it not? And then, we open up Monday, it's a rip roaring dump, and then it just reversed. And I just thought, oh, fuck, that was it. And then you look around and the hottest narratives are running. You've got Frax, you've got Phantom, you've got some of these
Phantom is on fire.
Gauge
right now,
stuff. Phantom's in an interesting level right now. I'm not buying Phantom right here. I like that I have some. I'm certainly not buying it. I think that dip, we talked about it last week, Rob, as we were coming up here, it's short reload zone. The best I can do is pick up a PCZ kind of entry where I'm looking at the pump chaser zone here, just hey, that's, and there you go. You've got that. Up here, there's no value to me as a trader, unless I just say, okay, I have none, and I want to play the break.
So Phantom's doing really
that thing
well
looks like it's a pot up. Yeah.
But
it does. It looks like it's going to go, but give me a level.
I know. Close this level and it's lights out.
How about those Phantom ecosystem coins right now? They are really, really ripping. And
yeah, Phantom Eco.
Is there any value left? Give us some. Are there any?
Oh, no. Here's my theory. I think that they're almost played out. Okay, so when did Danny and Andre announce their collaboration?
2 weeks ago it was hinted. A week ago it was official.
2 weeks ago, and Danny said, you need to get over onto Phantom and you need to have some milk. Okay, so you've got all these super degenerate apes, and they move over, they cash out, they get MIM, and they move over to Phantom. Well, they start sitting around a couple days, and everybody's getting fucking bored, and there's more money on Phantom than there ever has been before. So what happens? These apes, they can't stand sitting in cash. So they start, hey, I'm going to play a little bit of these coins. I'm going to multiply my stack until Danny and Andre release their thing. So I'm thinking that when Danny and Andre do release their product, the entire ecosystem is going to contract hard because everybody's going to be taking profits on these things, and all of the value is going to flow to the new product, whatever that is.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the way they've rolled it out. They've announced basically 20 ecosystems on Phantom that will get an allocation of this essentially airdrop, and they'll get to decide how to deploy it, presumably to the community who's LPing, providing liquidity.
Surely.
And so that I think is part of it as well. It's not just that people moved money over to Phantom, but they also moved money into some of these protocols. There's no clear indication of by any protocol how they're going to deploy this, even what it is yet. I fully agree with you in the sense that we've got a really nice catalyst here for like a sell the news. Whether that's like, oh, here's the ultimate top, I don't think so. I think it's likely going to set us up with a really interesting opportunity to buy pullbacks on strong projects. If you guys haven't already, you go to CoinGecko and you can click any Phantom project and they have these tags. Just go to Phantom Ecosystem, gives you a nice clean list. And you can see here on the 7 days, I mean, they're all rallying. None of this is value to me anymore. I kind of am kicking myself because we did catch that hint 2 weeks ago, basically saying Phantom Eco is going to rally. And it's a Danny thing, and I'm like, oh, like that's my jam. That's literally the catalyst I sit around waiting for. But it was New Year's, and I've just, for about 3 weeks, I've just been kind of in fuck off mode, enjoying myself, not paying attention to the market. So like, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. But I do think as that actually comes and launches, and then the announcement of, you know, how this is going to get deployed, yeah, it's absolutely going to be a pullback. And then it's a matter of, you know, can I draw up a level here? I don't have my usual charts on here, but like, can I drop some levels? Just say Scream is one. I don't know what these projects do, but just say Scream is one that I decide I would like to get into, not just for this quick rally, which, let's be honest, I've missed. I'm okay with that. It happens all the time. Now it's a matter of like, okay, once that goes live, is this, you know, what happens to all of them? And then they come back to these kind of like support levels, and then, you know, and then we can get the real rally if this is real shit. I think that could be your spring rally scenario where the consolidation that follows the launch of this project, whatever it is, could set up for a really nice continuation through Q1 and 2. For now, I'm not FOMOing into any of this stuff, as you can imagine, but there's some really nice moves going on right now.
So I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this, because, you know, we've been seeing a lot of like these sector rotations, right? And we've seen DeFi pump. We saw NFTs pump. We saw play to earn pump. We saw, you know, fucking L1s pumped, right? But there was like a very clear like path where the hot ball of money was bouncing from. You know, it's going from this to this to this to this, you know.
And there is a clear hot ball of money, yeah.
Right, and there is a hot ball of money. So my real question is now, what is the next narrative? Because a lot of people, and I think this is kind of a consensus thing at this point, think that the next big thing is L2s with a token. Now, what is the difference in a pleb's mind, right, in the average user's mind, between an L2 with a token and an L1? What's the difference in user experience for them? I don't think that there is a difference. So I think that we can basket those L2s with a token into the L1 rotation. And I think that the L1 rotation, most of the money has been made. You know, unless
most of the money is what?
Most of the money has been made in the L1 rotation, in my opinion. At least the easy money.
So are you?
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, yeah, the best money, right? But you could have said that about AVAX when I joined. Remember, I was a week late and I missed that 100x on Joe. You know, Joe was up to $1 or something. I came in, I lost a 30% haircut. I went so hard, I got ripped. But then I stuck around.
But
AVAX exploded.
Yeah. And here's what I'm saying is,
do we have another
all
one?
of these L1s have already been through these initial like hyper growth expansion phases now.
Yeah, I mean, AVAX is number 11.
That it doesn't mean that they can't continue to grow, and I think the good ones will continue to grow. But I think that the trade, in the sense that I'm going to move over to this L1 and 50x my net worth, I think that trade is played out. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Yeah. So the new narrative that's coming up, in my opinion, what I'm thinking is going to be going on here. We've had in DeFi 2.0, really wasn't DeFi 2.0. I mean, there were some Ethereum DeFi protocols, but it was really a multi-chain DeFi narrative. If you look at what was really hot, the hottest coin of DeFi 2.0 was Spell, Abracadabra, and it was multi-chain, right? And nobody was doing that. Well, everybody's multi-chain now. Aave went multi-chain, Curve went multi-chain.
Yeah, you better be multi-chain or you just give up now.
Now, there's something else that hasn't been done. So when I'm thinking of what's next rotation-wise, I'm thinking about everything else has already been blasted. What else can be done that hasn't been done yet? And I'm thinking cross-chain, not multi-chain, cross-chain, meaning that, you know, a front-end interface with a backend that consists of multiple chains that are interoperable with each
It's
other.
funny you mentioned that. I have this up right as we speak. I was going to bring this up today. I used Synapse. I think you started trying it out this week too. It was dope.
Yep.
Doesn't have a ton of assets, but not only could I could bridge and swap. So I take my MIM from ETH and I could have USDT on Phantom, and I just one swap, and it's seamless. It feels like the Uniswap experience. Is that a bit what you're talking about, or you're talking about like other products, even like a game perhaps that runs on both?
Okay, well, you've got Primordial AA's new project that's coming out, Layer Zero, which is apparently just a fucking banger, and it enables these multi-chain, cross-chain capabilities. I'm talking Uniswap, which uses MPC technology. You can transfer and exchange assets cross-chain. Look, these things are building on all of that L1 momentum and even potential maybe L2 momentum. And they capture value from all of those things. So if you actually look at Uniswap has
mooning.
If you scroll down on that, there's a dashboard, okay? And that dashboard, they're connected to a gazillion chains, right? And liquidity sources. But if you scroll down and you look at that dashboard, it'll just show you exactly how much value exchange is being facilitated by this protocol. And it's mind-numbing. It really is. So you've got Uniswap, you've got Synapse, you've got Layer Zero, a big player in cross-chain, not multi-chain, in cross-chain is going to be Aave. Here's the reason why. Aave v3 is going to enable the burning of A tokens on one chain and the minting of an A token on another chain. So it's actually going to be a hub for cross-chain liquidity that protocols like Uniswap and others can tap into that improves the liquidity of those. So imagine now, it's such a fucking pain in the ass. Like, oh, I want to buy this. I've got a bridge over here, and then I've got to figure this out. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. Imagine going to one web page and saying, I have Ethereum on Ethereum, and I would like to buy this asset. And I'm able to do it. Bam. It happens in the back end. That's where I see all this going. Just a seamless user experience, improved user experience, right?
Yeah.
So, look, I could be right. I could be wrong. If you look at something like Uniswap, they've got a VE token model coming up, which is all the rage right now. But
what is that? Give me like a 5-year-old in 10 seconds. Like, what the hell is that? Vote lock something?
So it's voting escrowed, whatever, VE, whatever. So some people have speculated that a lot of these older DeFi protocols and new protocols too are going to adopt this model just because Curve has proven that this is a sustainable model. This is what the people want. Another thing in DeFi that's going to change, in my opinion, is in the past, I think protocols played it really safe in terms of revenue distribution. I think that they're just going balls to the wall now. I think these protocols that are going to really be successful are ones that are going to distribute revenue to holders. Because otherwise, there's no reason to hold the fucking token. And we're even talking beyond the X token model that was popularized by Sushi. Because if I have Sushi and I've staked Sushi, I don't want more fucking Sushi. Here's the thing. If I ever want to see $1 out of that, I have to sell, right? Why not take all that revenue that the protocol is earning, and I've got $1 million of Sushi, and hey, now I have the ability to make $200,000 a year if it's going to be paying out 20% APR. Now I really never have to sell because I have a true productive asset. And that
if it pays out in cash, is what you're saying.
That asset is paying me in cash or something else that's liquid, something that's not what I'm staking, right? And here's the thing. Speculators determine the value of that asset and what the value of that cash flow is. You don't need the protocol to be buying its own fucking token and artificially inflating the price. That creates these wild volatility swings. Just let long-term speculators come in, let them, participate in the cash flow. And that's one thing that these VE models take care of, because to participate, to receive this cash flow, rent seekers can't do that. I have to be long-term aligned with the protocol. And I have to be invested in this protocol. then I'm entitled to that cash flow. But Uniswap is moving to this model where the protocol's revenue, which is a lot, okay, it's facilitating a lot of value transfer, is going to be distributed to people staking any, which is now multi, M-U-L-T-I, and VE multi, voting escrow multi, and I'm going to be distributed this protocol revenue in USDC. So here's the thing, if I'm a big believer in Web3 and cross-chain interoperability, which I think has a huge place in the future, and I'm psycho enough to hold a bag long-term, that gives me the ability to be a long-term bag holder. Because, hey, I'll just sit on my ass and collect a salary. It doesn't matter what the price of this is doing. What matters is the cash flow. And then these assets are going to start being priced based on that cash flow rather than based on, you know, how hard it pumps or whatever.
Yeah, and that's a mindset shift for a lot of people, myself included. So just say I pick up 10K worth of an asset and it's paying me $100 a month, whatever it is. And then I see during some period, it draws down like 2K, 20% drop. You know, CRV did this to me last year. And then I think there as a trader, I'm like, well, damn, if I just saw that market, you know, shift and like caught that market structure fail and I just shorted it, covered it, whatever, and then picked it back up, like I made more than this fucking staking all the way along. And during those periods where you're underwater versus all that noise, it is harder to hold. And so I had to kind of do a mindset shift where I just said, okay, like my AVAX CRV bag has a $0 value. I am just here for the yield, and I'm not going to overthink, through the waves up and down, how that yield compares to like the underlying, because it is a volatile underlying, even though CVX or CRV looks great right now.
It really does. And, I think
we should talk about it.
With Curve, one of the really interesting things about it is if you look at any other DeFi protocol from that era, down bad, right? Down real bad. There's still, because I was looking at buying some Aave last night as a part of this cross-chain thesis, okay? The next frontier, if you will. And, I was investigating all of these old DeFi charts. What else might fit into this thesis? What else might play into this? It doesn't matter where you look. If it's not Curve, it's down bad, down real bad. It's still 70% off the highs, even though that they bounced from their lows. Okay, so the interesting thing with Curve is that Curve really never had this, fucking hockey stick chart, where it just went straight up vertical. People made a dog shit ton of money, and then they moved on. If you banged out a 50x, like what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna dump. The opportunity cost of remaining in that, even if it is producing cash flow, is enormous in this space.
Yeah.
So
and it's not locked, right? You're not locking your CVX here. You can just unlock it and dump it.
It's not locked.
Or
But
unstake it.
any other DeFi chart, especially Dino DeFi, looks like this. It's straight up and then it's straight back down. It's just been farting around ever since because there's no new growth happening in those protocols. You look at something like Curve though. Curve has been growing. You've got this Curve Wars narrative, which I don't think is as strong as it was a couple of months ago, but it's still a strong narrative. And in addition to that, you don't have this parabolic launch of Curve to where people got hilariously fucking rich and just dumped it to hell, because why not?
Shout out to Rob for sending me this fabulous picture. I just saw this, dude.
Get ready for the ball stick.
Which
I didn't hear no bell. This is Rob on Monday morning, just waking up to the market like, yeah, what up? What else you got?
Look at the diamonds in his hand. Fucking diamond handed.
Yes,
literally getting torched. I didn't hear no bell. I was literally buying Curve, buying more shit the other morning, just looking at markdowns and all the fear. It was hilarious.
I slept in Monday morning, I'll be honest. I've been really lazy, like off the horse. I had kind of just decided what I have is what I'll have. I've taken the cash for the tax. I've had some extra cash to buy the dips. I wasn't ready to buy the dips. And I just fucked off for 3 weeks. But my God, this is literally you in a nutshell.
It's unbelievable. But I but everything Messi just said right now is part of, I think, the thesis that we are employing now, and that this is not 2018 again, right? There is stuff that actually is being used, like being used a lot, right? Is throwing off cash flow. I think that, you know, when Messi talks about these L2s and you know, maybe this L1 catching those 100Xs is done. I think along those lines, and I don't know about L2, but I think there are going to be some application layer protocols and networks that are going to build crazy amounts of network value and are going to spin off cash flow, distribute fees, and all of that, that you are going to see some massive 25, 50Xs, 100Xs. I think you're going to have to really keep your ear down and be at ground level and trying to find the stuff that has early product market fit. People are using it, and I think there's going to be a ton of gems that way. But I think 2021 was the year of L1. It was literally, you know, Ethereum did not have a bad year in 2021. I'm not saying they did, but there were L1s that had ridiculous years.
Well,
right?
they pulled ETHs. They pulled ETHs from 2017, right? The early growth, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I think
multiple of them.
It's very possible that we may, you know, the best may be behind us in that asymmetric upside. Obviously possible. I wouldn't buy it. And at the very least, if that is the case, I'd rather go down swinging, looking for that 50X, 100X, doing the research, you know, putting my fucking name or, you know, name in the ring, whatever, hat in the ring. Because every time we hit these extreme fears after some kind of crazy alt season as it was in 2017, 18, you know, DeFi summer, there is always the talk of the best is behind us. Those big protocols are out there now. That's just going to be it. And then something else comes along. You mentioned layer 0 earlier. I have high hopes for that. I think it's going to be hype as fuck. Now, I don't know what the valuation is at launch versus what it'll run to. But there's some really cool fucking tech coming along that's not even launched yet. There's insurance protocols, one in particular that I know of, NAYMS, that looked legit as fuck. We did a bit of a pitch. Well, they actually pitched us back in the spring, but they weren't going to launch till October. Anyways, we didn't end up getting into that round, but I'm keeping an eye out for that. They look cool as hell. There's just so much coming. And I think what you mentioned, Rob, like other primitives on some of these L1s that are going to be built, I'm pumped. But to the sentiment of like, yeah, like looking at Luna, looking at AVAX, looking at these, do I see hypergrowth potential from, you know, $100 Luna? Not really. Could I see it 10xing in the next 3 years? For sure.
That's like the most exciting thing here is, you know, when you ask truly, like, what is the next 50, 100x opportunity? Like, I wish I fucking knew. Like, I wish I could tell you. Because
let me know if you find out.
Look at all. So most of what had this outrageous upside were new protocols and products that had achieved this product market fit. And through the Ponzi magic of crypto, you know, they saw very, very rapid adoption. Okay. And when you ask me, you know, what the next big thing is, I would imagine it's something that fits that same bill, and it's something that we haven't heard of yet or that doesn't exist. Because if you look at all of this shit in 2021, half of it didn't exist at the beginning of 21. You know, especially a lot of these really, really good performers. So, you know, as Rob was saying, you've got to keep your ears to the ground. You've got to think about, you know, what new things could be invented that would be really, really hot. There's so much in DeFi that can still be done that isn't possible right now. And a lot of these new things coming out are going to facilitate that. So I think you are going to see new primitives, new markets, new opportunities. Are you going to catch them? Probably not. You know, that's why it goes 100x. Not everybody can get in on that. But
I'll tell you who's going to catch this one. If this one goes, I will be catching it. I've been holding it. It's one of the few bags that I've held. I got to put it out there because this chart looks, you know, it looks better than it has in a while. Look, it does not look good like the Phantom ecosystem right now. This is a down market. This is not the hype of the week. But if you look at me right now and ask me, will it ever become? I would say almost certainly yes. There will be a cycle here for Everest ID. And I always go back to the Malta license. They spent 3 years getting it. They don't. I pull out that multi-license because there's like 9 in the world. It makes them globally regulated, recognized, internationally, and they have a stable coin that is going to be operating on multiple L2s across tons of different chains. Or their L2 across basically multi-chain. So they are this multi-chain, fully regged. They have a lot of cool shit, and I haven't been following them closely lately. I've been in sort of hibernation mode with them. But when I saw this breakout yesterday, I had to tweet about it because this was the daily close that was just a smidge above this level here, which basically marked the downtrend. And that's on the other side of the downtrend. So I do think the worst is over. And you know me, I'm not saying rush to buy resistance. I think that's stupid. But I actually did add right here. I shit you not. I added another peanut to my bag because I was just like, it's right on fucking support. Let's go. And it was like 22 cents. So that's cool. But like PCZ 30, 35, 38, I think that there could be a 50x in this one. I'm not calling a 50x, but hell yeah, I'm going to be holding some through that.
I'm gonna have to go buy some. But what you're saying is RT didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell. I certainly didn't hear a bell. And
you were beat up on this thing.
Be early. Yeah, being early is not the same as being wrong, okay? Now, if it had been trending down, like if we lost this low here, this is ugly. That's bad. But what we saw here is just an unwinding of a lot of over exuberance. And we watched some wallets, guys are messaging me like, oh, this whale dumped. Like there's just a lot of guys who thought I'm going to be a whale, and they've all capitulated through this. And somebody's putting in support. And there's actually a lot more buying down here.
Have you ever seen that meme where it there's a little bit of green on the chart and it zooms in.
Yeah.
And it zooms in more and then it zooms in more on the
It's the MACD, it flips green. Yeah.
It's the MACD and it flips green. Like that's the kind of energy like you're giving me right now.
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing.
Yeah, they're like, it's happening.
Now there's no one, I'm not going to sit here and say like when it happens, be like, I told you, best trade of April 2021. It was not. The jury's already out on that. Like it was not the best trade of April 2020, whatever the fuck it was when I thought I brought it up. But I'm going to get my fucking 10x. You better believe. I'm sticking around for that. I'm sticking around to this chaos. That's 4x. And it's funny because it's got a weirdly big bag of it. Like that I don't know. You know me. I don't hold bags. This one, I couldn't.
Here's
I said, look,
thing.
There's only so many fundamental plays. Yeah.
Your thesis is spot on, though. This is ID. This is identity verification for DeFi, for on-chain application, for all this shit. Like, there needs to be a solution for this. This is something that needs to be solved. There is more and more on-chain transaction volume. So, yes, Everest ID. I know Civic is someone that we're working with at Hxro Network. This stuff is going to be used more and more and more. So if Everest
Civic
ID
had a good year.
is a leader.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting? Look at Civic, right? I remember 2017, Vinny Lingham, whatever, came out. Like it was hot. And it was like every altcoin, like Messi said, vapor, right? It died. It wasn't necessarily that it was vapor. It was just early production and there wasn't infrastructure or need. And then, of course, the winners, they survive. They grind through. And on November 3rd, 2020, it broke out. And it's just been up only since in a sort of very big uptrendy way. So, yeah, I think you're bang on. And I guess where I landed with it was one of those few bags I decided I was going to hold, didn't do what I wanted. And I'm like, well, I'm not fucking selling here because like Secret Network is probably my only thesis play where it's like, I think DeFi is going to be private and I think a certain amount of it needs to be KYC'd. And I think those two things in the future will be very hot. And those are the two picks I have for that to play out. And it's less important that it happens now or tomorrow, but yeah, opportunity cost sucks, but whatever.
Yeah. I think, you know what? We've got Messi. Everyone's so happy to see you back, and I am too. I think we should give a little promotion to some of these people. They want to know what your alt Twitter account is. Maybe we should let,
I told him what it is.
Oh, you just put it in there. Good.
I told him what it is, but I'm not guaranteeing, I'm going to be following anybody back unless, you're somebody that's been a reply guy or has interacted with me in the past. Once again, the purpose of this new Twitter account is just because I like Twitter, but it's just, to enjoy Twitter on a much smaller stage. How about that?
Well, hit up Paul Allen says that's Nick Wolf in the chat. He's a good dude.
I accepted his.
He's been around. He's a good dude. Big fan of Nick Wolf.
You definitely like to talk that shit, and we probably should pour out a little liquor for the Bogdanoff brothers. I mean,
We should.
It's really sad.
dude, it's really sad. I remember in the heart of the bear market in 2018, you know, like Crypto Ninjas ran a story on your whole Bogdanoff, change your avatar to the Bogdanoffs. Everything Bogdanoff to me was so 2017-18 crypto Twitter, right? Like it just was so classic. And you know, I learned about it really kind of through you, and to see these guys, one ended up dying, I don't know why, and then his twin brother, like 6 days later, it was
coronavirus. They were old. You know, it's some people. I don't know what it is. You just lose the lottery. You know, I don't know if it's you know, there's comorbidities and risk factors and age, and you know what, like these guys were old as fuck, and the sad thing is I think Grichka died first, right? And what happened is Igor was in a coma when his brother died, and he ended up not coming out of the coma and dying. But still, it's, you know, it is really sad, just because they are. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most legendary crypto memes of all time. And if you guys haven't watched this, trust me, it's worth your time. You're gonna laugh. It's gonna make you happy. It's gonna make you feel good. Go to YouTube.
Except for when it happened to you.
Yeah.
I was very moved.
Except for when you get bogged.
When you get bogged,
I
can't find it.
Bogged, so you're gonna identify with it. But go to YouTube and search Bizonacci. That is BIZONACCI, maybe 2 Z's. I'm not sure. But you'll see he's got a lot of videos with Wojaks and Boggs and Voice Snyman. There's this whole universe and narrative that this brilliant meme artist has crafted around the Bogdanoff twins, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious. That's it, Bizonacci. Go to YouTube, search Bizonacci. There's like maybe 5 to 8 videos. You're gonna laugh your ass off. Trust.
Okay, I think in honor of the Boggs, we need to play the most popular one that I think of, anyways. So I'm gonna pull it up. I'm going to put on computer audio, which means you guys can't talk during it or it's going to echo and be awful. Okay. And we just got to give this guy, you know, I think it's a good time for it. If there was ever a time, let's do it.
Definitely can't hear you.
Yes.
Bogdanoff.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Ibor.
It's on.
You went to all in.
Dumpy.
Yeah, I don't think the audio is coming through.
It is on the stream. Oh, just beautiful.
How about he rebought? And when they're painting the chart patterns.
That's like one of the classics, right? And then it just, you know, it kind of extrapolated from that, and it grew. But I mean, what a couple of legends.
Doing research.
You could see them,
Doing research. Oh my god.
That's literally how it was in 2018 though. Like you'd see like a great looking setup and you buy it, and then the next day you get out of bed and you go look at your portfolio and you're down like 50% on your net worth. Like
the throwback Binance UI there just gives me like the sweats. You know, that classic Binance basic view that's the only one they had, and I definitely. I don't think I pushed max on anything like that green, but oh my god, we got dumped on. There was 2 years of Bogdanoffing going on because we were long only. So yeah, I'm glad we got that in, guys. Really, tragic, weirdly tragic news. It's kind of a thing, though, right? You hear about an old couple, not that they're a couple, but old couples, one will die, and then they're 96, and the other will die 2 months later. That's more loneliness, maybe, but this was just
not even two, like a day, like a couple days.
Yeah,
like this was just.
We studied that a bit in
crazy.
university. It was kind of a crazy little phenomenon, but I think that rocked the crypto world a little bit for the memes. But let's get some final thoughts. Not final, but yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about some Dino coins, and this one always reminds me of Messi. But I saw something very interesting the other day
Zcash.
in Kyber Network, KNC. On a pretty down day, this thing put in a 15-minute candle that was like up, I think 70%, 80% at one point. And it looked like something kind of crazy was happening. And then in just proper kind of fashion, it shit the bed right back down. It doesn't look like a fat finger to me.
But
this thing the other day, this was
that's weeks ago.
I swear, Kyber Network
is
cursed.
It went from $1.30 to $2.30, and it was more recent. Yeah, way more recent.
It hasn't traded above $2 in a long time.
No, it did.
Unless you're thinking about, you're probably on Coinbase.
Well, go to Coinbase, whatever here I can, but somebody aped into an absolute metric shit ton of it.
Yeah, that's Coinbase, and then holy shit, that's a totally different chart than
So Kyber is actually working on a ZK based swap to reduce prices of swaps. I don't know the timeline or anything on that. The issue with Kyber is I think it's great technology, but like the really Dino DeFi, like Dino DeFi, we're talking Kyber, we're talking Maker, we're talking ZRX. There's literally almost no value accrual to the token, and people don't want to hold that shit.
Yeah, this to me, and I get it. But the thing about this stuff always is you never know when something is coming, when a change is coming, where they change that token economics.
Stake your Kyber to get all the fees.
Something fucking happens. And when I see shit like this, it makes me think. I don't. Part of me just thinks that it is more likely than not that we will see some follow through on this. This was on a day when shit was getting smoked too.
It's crazy, the standout for Coinbase. Yeah, 108% move versus everything else seems to be 36.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is something I like pointing out when I see shit like this. I always like to point it out.
This is your thing though, and you're usually spot on because somebody did that and they know something. They know the tokenomics are shit, but they know something else too, I guess, right?
And they didn't dump it. That was volume. That volume stands out. It was spot volume. It wasn't fucking derivative volume. It was spot volume.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it was, dumped. There was obviously no follow through on it, but it hasn't exactly, that was on a down day. That was at the beginning of the week. Stuff was off. Everything else was bloody red. So I don't know. Something to think about. Messi, you're talking about ZK with swaps.
Looks a lot like that Civic chart. Big rally. I remember it because I was in the ICO back in 2017. It was great.
Yeah.
Got out, made a few bucks, and then but it's done the Civic thing. It kind of died and came back, and it's been up only in a weird sort of Dino way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one to keep an eye on. That's our Rob special today, I think. Because you do spot these anomalies on Coinbase. It's right at the sweet spot. I mean, I can't hate on the location. If I'm trying to get long something long term, it'll give me that sweet 702 fib after a rally too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a whale game. I think that person could have executed this a lot better. But
no kidding.
For whatever reason, he wanted his he wanted his slug, but that's a really standout volume bar. Just
if I had the
knows?
patience, and I'm not playing hot ball of money, get with the fastest horse, which for the most part I try to play, but for the year, if I'm like, this is really what you want. If, Messi says that the token accrual, value accrual is shit, I agree. It has clearly shown that as their volumes grow. This thing hasn't. But you get into this reload zone, you get these big bursts of buy volume. Where do we go from here? Usually up when you get into that accumulation range. Usually up. And then it's just a matter of opportunity cost. So I like it. And my goal this year is to trade less. And my plan for January, once I kind of rolled out of bed and into this kind of range, for the record, we didn't really talk about it earlier, but no, we're not out of the woods yet. Like, this is just a downtrend. This is a higher low for now, or lower high. And so what you want, as always, is to have some kind of test and then a break of wherever we fail on this move up. And I don't think it's actually going to happen down here. Who cares what I think? But I really don't. I figure we'll probably get a little more out of it, squeeze a little more, whatever that ends up looking like. But it's that break of the end of this move. That's when you're out of the woods. Yep. And so all that to say, right now, I'm still not kind of out of bed yet, rushing to put all my capital in. But when I do, I think KNC might be one I just want to park a little in for the year. Because I want to not trade this year. I want to park some shit that I can think in 5, 10x by the end of next year even. Like, I'm so sick of taxes. I'm just going to not trade.
Believe me, I did not look at the fundamentals. I didn't even try to figure out what the hell happened, if it was some headline, if it got listed on fucking Upbit or some crazy shit. But this stood out to me. Another thing, and Nick Wolf and a couple of other guys have spoken about, another standout to me this week was Link. I mean, how do you not look at Chainlink? That thing was getting a lot of money flow when other stuff was getting pounded. I read that maybe the dev team stopped dumping tremendous amounts every week. I don't know what the catalyst really was, but Chainlink was performing. And I think it outperformed the market for a little stretch.
Chainlink, yeah, it woke up the other day weirdly.
Yep.
I'm trying to get Messi back in. He froze there. The let me in or is at the door. I sent him the link again. He's not showing up, but you let me worry about that. As I pull up Link, you can talk a little bit about what you're seeing over there. Ooh, I just got some old ink on it. Seems to be playing along. As it does.
Yeah, a little squiggly action. Not
a squiggly, no, but just like, these trend lines that I drew from way back here, I think, and that's ended up being like where it bottomed. Load.
Look at that volume. I mean, that's fucking bullshit. This volume, this last stretch here is...
That is
pretty
really
good.
Nice volume. Waiting to join the conversation. That's weird. Messi is not... Damn it. It's doing that thing where we have to reload rendezvous. John, it happened to us a few times last year. That hasn't happened forever. Actually, wait. I'm going to kick out the question mark man. Let's try to save this here if we can. Boom. Boom. Okay. Now try. Now you are deleted from the stream. Yeah. I think we can do this here. And that's the hour, so the universe is saying, get that fuck out. But no, we'll give him one more shot here. We've done it a few times, and like John would just close rendezvous and repop it, but that's going to be really messy, and I've got to go pee.
If you're if you're watching the show and you like what we're bringing to you,
if you guys like technical difficulties, hit the like button.
Yes, smash that like button.
Smash that like button. And we'll get him back in
Messi's
here.
really he just needed time to go get his ape suit on.
I think this is all just a show. He's like, I'm waiting to join. I'm like, I don't think you are. I'm not seeing you pop up, dude. I don't know. It is strange. It is the strange. Usually it's a whole bunch of unplug, replug classic.
Yeah. So I'm seeing in the chat, Sergey announced staking this year. That's good. Chainlink holders have been waiting for staking.
Did he announce staking? Okay. Yeah, staking is a thing. I actually had a conversation about it today. I think Secret is the last stake I'll do because, in the case of Secret, and I am keeping an eye out for Messi, but I think he dipsetted. Yeah, I think he's like, fuck this, I gotta go to the bathroom. Anyways, let's take a look at Secret because this is my thoughts on staking right now. This is kind of where I'm at with it. That's not the chart. Is that him? No. Ooh, here it is. So like this was my view of Secret. And I picked up a bunch here and I felt pretty good about myself when it broke out. And I said, you know what? I love Secret. Over the next couple of years, I'm just going to go stake it. 28%, but it's a 20-day unlock period. So forget trying to like dump it, at the highs or something. Anyways, and I'm like, yeah, cool. But then this came in and it's like fib extension, chaos PRZ. I'm way up on my position. I'm like, damn, this is going to roll over probably. And I'm going to get 28% for the full round trip. And then as soon as this candle came in and broke down, I was like, oh, and I just knew within reason, and there's no perps, I can't just short it. I can't do other ways to trade it. And I think I was looking at it around $9, 8 something. And I was just like, God, it's going to hit this reload zone and I'm just going to have to ride it. And that pissed me off. I was just like, I could make more money than staking if I could just, because of how much I look at the market. So I think I decided that's the last staking I'll do unless it's like a lockup to get some other incentives because I want more Secret. I'm not selling it because I'm bearish on it. I'm selling it because I want, I could chop 10,000 of them here, pick up 14,000 of them there, whatever. And look how perfect it's played out. I mean, boom, like fib extension to sweet spot. That's my jam. So, but if you like staking, if you don't sit around all day and play with fibs and you're a big nerd, and you have a job or you have a family or you frankly just can't be bothered because you think it's going to 100x in the next 5 years, fuck yeah, staking's dope. And it supports the network. So
Agreed.
I'm still staked, by the way. I didn't unstake. I'm not abandoning ship. I added around here. I'm not at my sweet spot. I should do that one day, like actually set a bid at the 702. But I did pick up some through this muck last December and or last month, and I like the Secret. I like it a lot. I think Tor Blair is going ham. He's turning up bigly. I think as far as like L1s go, this is essentially an L1, and I think it has yet to have its ecosystem boom or any real ecosystem at all. There's like Sienna and a few others.
Wasn't it? It's part of the Cosmos ecosystem.
It's in Cosmos. Yeah, it's in there, but it's the way it's set up is like it doesn't run on Atom, right? It runs on Secret. And the way Tor, when he came on Frog Radio, and when he came on here, or was it Frog Radio or both? Either way, he came on and talked a lot about NFTs and sort of what privacy can do for them. I hadn't even thought of that. I was just thinking of DeFi. So that kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh, I better double my bag because there's 2 reasons to think it's bullish. And so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the Atom.
So anyways, guys, Messi sends his best. He says, don't worry about a good stream. Tell everyone I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
He probably had to drop a deuce.
Yeah. No, it's happened to me before too when John used to host. Okay. But that's, we are getting near the top of the hour. It felt good to have you guys all back in here. That energy. I like it because I like to play with the screen while you guys talk. As much as I love getting in here and just running my mouth, I love listening to you guys talk while I just get to like narrate visually and just do my own thing. So anyways, it was nice to have him back. What were you going to say?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Let's look at Atom. I mean, Cosmos is
Atom's my pain point.
It's a standout.
Well, you know this about me. I have this like weird thing about buying Atom. I just can't seem to do it even if it hits all my levels. I had one nice Atom trade, I don't know, somewhere last year. That's it. Didn't buy this dip, didn't buy this PCZ, and I'm sitting here like it's going to the highs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we talked about it last week, and you said your buddy, the guy who knows stuff, he was bullish on it. IBC integrations, the idea that maybe there will be a use case for the token beyond staking. It's at resistance now. I'm not buying it here, but I certainly wish I bought it here, and I think I will get very aggressive if we break up out of here, and I'll just pick up some on like a retest or retest. some kind of reason where I can say I waited and I was patient and I followed my rules, but I got some fucking Atom. Because if I just wait, I might avoid buying the exact friggin' high, which is otherwise what that is. Because you've got a short reload zone. That's where I short. I can only short here. So.
Yeah, it might be. I mean,
what were you thinking about it? Like, maybe I get lucky. We go down here for this one.
It's just been so. It's been so strong. It's been so strong. There's been a lot of money flow. Clearly, would have loved to reload on that dip, but this, I think it's gonna go higher. I mean, that's the vibe I get.
I'll be honest, with all my like TA and shit, I think it is too. And I wish I had that. Maybe I'll develop that Rob Levy diamond handness where you just kind of say, it's going to go higher. I have enough reasons to just pick some up. Don't have to sweat the exact levels. That works for you. I don't have those diamond hands. So if I don't get my level, then I'm just shit in the bed next time it comes into my level instead of buying more or something.
You can stake it. You get all these airdrops. Listen, it's like you said, it's not written that we're out of the fucking woods here, that this whole market is not going to chop, and that we've seen the low for, this local period. I'd like to believe it. I do think that, even though the trend is changing with the Fed and tapering and all of that, I still think that real interest rates are if you look at inflation 6-7% and the Fed funds rate super low, like real rates here are well into the negative 5-6%. So you can pull up that little list. I think I sent it to you in Telegram, another image that we're still in the most sexy time to be long risk, and
okay.
It just it's going to take a long time. Yeah.
You like a long time for us to not be in that risk window.
Yeah, like pull that chart up there. Exactly what that guy. Yeah, that was one that I saw the other day that I saved because in terms of macro, right?
Break this down for me. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. What is this?
Well, you're looking at the effective Fed funds rate, right? Where they're keeping the Fed funds, the short-term interest rate. We're looking at an unemployment rate. We're technically at this full employment level, right? We're looking at what the CPI year over year, the inflation. And then you're looking at the real Fed funds rate, which is the effective rate minus inflation, right? Because you're not really getting, even if the Fed's paying you a short-term interest rate of 2.5%, but inflation is 0.4%, the real Fed funds rate, you subtract inflation. So
you have to factor that in.
Look at December 21. Like, still zero rates. Even if we raise it to 1%, right, with inflation of 5, 6, 7%, it's still a very, very negative real rate. So
now how does that compare to all the years before that tell us that's good? It looks like a bad year. It's the only red one out of all the green for the last 50 years.
Well, what it's telling you is you don't want to be in that you want to be out on the risk curve. You want to be earning real interest rate. So what is that, right? Is it in crypto? Is it in risky stocks? Yeah, like what is it?
Oh, you're saying like you just can't sit in cash. You got to go for it. It's pushing everyone into the market.
I mean, that's what this zero interest rate environment and QE, that's what it kind of does, right? It tells you that you need to go find some other place to earn money, to earn return on your capital. It's not here. It's not holding, bonds. It's in other stuff. So the bottom line is, like, even you stop QE and they're just going to let it roll off. They're not going to sell a bunch of assets. There's still a long way to go to where, the real rate is positive and competitive. I think that's basically what that's saying. So.
Okay. Well, if I look at this and I think about blow off tops and parabolas and all that, I mean, this is the S&P over the last 40 years, and it it's doing one thing and one thing only. It's a tough trend to fade. And every time people try to fade it, and I don't really trade it. Obviously, it affects what we do a little bit. But every time somebody tries to fade it, I remember last year, ton of fear. And it's sad because a lot of people get out of their crypto positions when they see something like a trend line over here break. And this broke, right? And there's a few weeks of this, and everyone's like, and that was our September, bloody September, and then it just keeps going up. Like it's a fugazi. I don't know. I don't follow that shit.
It's also in dollar terms, right? And the dollar, we know what's happened to the money supply and all that. So
speaking of that
into account.
Dixie, our favorite dollar index here, just falling off a cliff today. Surely had a little bit.
Today.
Yeah, that was a significant candle. That was probably the biggest. Not just a big red candle. Like this was a big red candle, but that was after a rally. This was like after like a sinking So let's see how it does down at 94 and a half. You mentioned, it could easily just be like a bing, 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 and then you're just moving up. It's an uptrend. My high time frame targets based purely on my own fib stuff is a little higher, but that's not a nice candle, and it could give us a spring rally if this thing just takes its sweet time. Although, let's be honest, crypto rallied through this as you predicted last year. You said, well, it was less of a bold prediction and more of like a, writing off the Dixie as an important indicator. You said, can't we rally with it? And we did. So I appreciate your stepping away from the crowd on that. I've got one more that I want to talk about. I do have to run. I can't do the 2-hour session today, unfortunately. But if you guys didn't know, I will be back. I'm going to do Hero Labs live this week. I didn't last week. Like I said, I've been kind of like out to lunch, just, enjoying myself a little bit, trying to like unwind after a long 2 years. But I'm going to do it Friday. So hit me up. I'm going to schedule it on YouTube. Keep an eye out. Actually, it might be early, might be late, but it will be on Friday. If you guys like, and I'm referring to like the guys in the chat, Osmosis, Keeper, like we'll get into that stuff on a technical perspective. And when I say that, I mean TA. I am not messy. I learned from these DeFi guys. I'm not quite ready to preach all that. Oh, here's what I wanted to show you. Here's a little fun like ink I put together the other day. If I just had to imagine what a not that bearish bear market would look like, where it's like, we don't do a complete washout, but it's a technical correction that is like on every one of my charts in the sense that like, me, I like to see them clean up. How ugly would that feel? How does that ink make you feel? And obviously, it does start with like a month more of up, and then it's just a bunch of shit and guessing, and then just a proper FU cliff, take out all these lows, tag the sweet spot, clean up the chart, bounce, retest the low, and then just, off into the distance for like that classic Q4 rally and into next year. It's just one of a trillion little inks that you could put on here. I don't know. I'm saving this one. I cooked it up the other day. I thought if I had to be the bear this year, where it's like, because that's not that bearish. If you, I mean, it is, it's nasty, but you know what I mean? It's not like a 2017, like pure washout. 2017, it would stink.
The smell would be foul.
It would be, I'm just saying, am I calling for that? No, I'm just saying like, I will keep this in my mind for this year because I think we could get a little cleanup going. And that goes back to everything we talked about earlier, hot ball of money, keeping my eye, on the narrative, what's doing well, and then making sure that I'm not sitting in some dusty old thing because I think it might be good. Like be with strength or don't be, be in stables earning a yield, which you can do. Otherwise, like get on that because I just don't know if it's going to be as easy of a year. That's my vibe. So I wanted to put that on today just to like, tickle some nuts on a couple of green days here. I think this looks like nothing but a bearish retest to me. Sorry, guys. Hate to be the bearer of bear news, but let's get some bullish. Look, the other way to look at it, because I do like to be objective. We've got the pump tracer zone, right? We've got the PCZ, and we just tagged it. So that's also a corrected chart in some ways. If you think about a strong bull market, just pull back, tag that 382. We are clear for takeoff here if we need to be. So it's not like we can't be. I just, if you're selling through here, if I'm selling off through here and I'm saying, I'm just going to wait it out because this was a really good dip. I mean, where dips go, and then Arthur posted that article, and I even saw guys in chat saying like, damn, I read that article. I'm selling everything. Like he's right. It's going to unwind so hard. It was a good dip, very effective. because people were selling the low, just thinking that later this year they could buy it, not realizing in the time in between it's probably going to squeeze the shit out of them, make them buy higher. But let's just get some bullish structure. All it takes is this, and then it's like, okay, sick, new trend, let's go. We just don't have it yet, so be warned. Meanwhile, my homie ID, but actually I meant to pull up like Uniswap. Like there are coins out there that are breaking into price discovery. It's a new market. You don't have to be long ETH, and then if it's not performing, you can't make money. There is some good narratives right now, and I think Messi nailed it. I think multi-chain, I think Synapse, like some of these protocols, layer 0, Frax. Somebody spoke to today said he thinks of the guys on the Frax team who he knows quite well. One of them in particular in person. And he says they're some of the smartest guys he knows. And he's a pretty smart DeFi dude. And so I don't take that lightly. And they're into price discovery today.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts, my final thoughts. What are yours?
I like it. I don't know. You know what's got me all hot and bothered is watching Chainlink and thinking about I do not think this is going to be one oracle to rule them all. So I'm just thinking when Pith token, when are the masters of the TradFi universe and these the true market data like gurus, when are they going to bless us with a token that we can buy? Because I'm sitting here at the Solana Pith Network boot camp, and I deal with the Pith guys. We are we're using Pith oracles and all of the Hxro network on-chain stuff. These guys are just the most professional of professionals, wicked smart. And I'm thinking, when token that I can ape into, because look, Chainlink, it's $26-28 billion fully diluted valuation, right? And it's not going to be one oracle to rule them all, in my opinion. And I'm really impressed with what Pith is doing. So,
I'm wondering now. You got no, Band isn't really pushing. You can see this fib fell apart pretty hard. It's kind of down in there, but it's right at the 87. So I'm just wondering, like, what if Pith sounds like they're closer than ever? What if there's some inside info about them just launching, being a big oracle rally, and so people are starting to push the Link? But I think Link staking going live is more likely than that scenario.
It's going to be a good comp. Like, thinking about, okay, Pith.
When Pith goes live.
What are they going to... Yeah, what are they going to trade relative to Link, right? Yeah. What are we looking at? What's their circulating supply multiple going to be relative to Link? What's the fully diluted? Because I do know how rock solid the Pith technical team is, and the participants in that network that I'm seeing at these sort of events, how crazy strong they are. So
it feels baked. It feels like it'll be a very competitive launch. Maybe one of those projects like IOTA back when it came out that just launched at like $1 billion plus market cap. I always like to remember that one because it just came out like a whale in a friggin' fish pond and then just did nothing but die since. But not saying Pith will do that, but you know what I mean? Like, it may come pre-valued. I don't think it's going to launch at 50 mil market cap, unfortunately.
I don't think it's going to give us, but you never know. You never know. And like any token, when it launches, you always get that dip, right? You always get a retrace on, so it's kind of,
you get this it doesn't matter what coin. I'm just going to pick the first one I see. You get Frax, and there's a reason for that, right? We say charts are just human psychology painted in candles, and what is the psychology here? Well, it's, oh my God, I was so excited. I was waiting for this to come out, and I didn't have my white ink on apparently, but I was waiting for this to come out, and so that crowd who wanted some buys it. There was a crowd who already owned some, and they waited for that, and at some point the sellers of that, they were up enough and they sold it. And the late buyers capitulated because they realized they just FOMO'd in, and then it finds a bottom, and then the buying commences, and then usually there's a period of consolidation, and then the real get real. So, do we get that on Pith? It's not really, it's fairly chain or asset agnostic. It seems to happen to everything. I think it even happened to like Coinbase shares. Like, it just kind of happens. So being
Yeah,
aware of that can prevent
it
you
does.
from getting out of position. No, Coinbase just shit the bed. Straight out of the
Yeah.
gates. I think actually on the hourly or something it did kind of do that, but nope, it actually just shit the bed. Well, it came out pretty overvalued.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm looking forward to Pith too. I have been since last year, but I'm not holding my breath on being like getting in early, like it's cats out of the bag. But that link chart
that
looks
is
good.
true.
Yeah, link looks good.
It doesn't.
Though, dude.
You bring up a good point though. Band. You might see it start to get a little echo.
It
hasn't
definitely did.
happened yet.
It did on the day, like as it does. There's just probably algos that are like, hey, this thing's up 30%. Buy Band. Look, okay, let's make a case for Band. If Pith is coming, let's say Q1, Q2. Like, do you know within reason that they have a token planned? Even?
I don't. Yes, there is a token for everything. Absolutely, there will be a token because it's part of the model because we're using Pith as the oracle.
Okay.
So there absolutely will be one. I don't know when. I would assume that it will be relatively soon. And I just believe that there's more and more growth in not only just decentralized derivatives and the need to settle those sort of contracts, but the oracle is it is a major piece of DeFi. So I don't know the Band team. I know the Pith team personally. We see what Chainlink has been doing for the last 2-3 years. It has held a pretty rich valuation for a while. So
yeah,
I just
it's
think
been quiet.
Like,
it's been like weirdly quiet, which I think you could explain by just like look at it. It went crazy, and now it's just consolidating. That's normal. Yeah, look. Oh, sorry, this is Band, but yeah, Chainlink, same thing.
Yeah.
Very similar charts. Let's keep an eye on Band. I think there could be an opportunity here just for, like you say, echo value, where a link is already marked up. Pith is going to launch. There's going to be Oracle hype, and purely on a technical basis, because we're at this key support. I mean, if you lose this, forget about it. We're zooming out. We're drawing a new fib from all the way back here. Lights out. It is truly a lights out moment if we lose that level for me as a trader. But zooming in, the rise in volume really started. I guess I marked it like months ago, but back in August, it really started off there. And now we're in the reload zone of that. And we've just confirmed like a little bullish market structure on that volume. And now we're back into that reload zone of that. So from a technical perspective, if I'm risking to those lows, this is the kind of trade that actually kind of got me my start in crypto. Now I'm a lot more focused. Like I don't do too many pure technical trades. I try to focus on like hot ball of monies and narratives and fundamentals. But purely on a technical basis, yeah, like I risk to these lows, 19%. I've got 70 to 80% upside. There's a good return there. And then let's see, maybe Pith, Link just broke out in a big way. They drag it up.
Yeah.
Because when Band was rallying, it was hyped. Like there was like, oh, Band, the next Link. Yeah. So I think that could be coming back, and there's no better place for me to be getting long than these kind of stinky lows after those subtle little bullish signals. So yeah, let's circle back to Band. I'm going to keep this ink on here. I'll save it. Let's circle back here in like a month, maybe, or just every week for 10 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, dude, I'm going to get back. I'm literally going to explode here. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Then I'm going to go eat some dinner with the fam. Thank you guys for joining us on DeltaFi this week. We had Messi back, which is a real pleasure to have him in here ranting and raving about the DeFi and narratives. 162 of you guys. Appreciate every single one of you. I'll be back on Friday. So Hxro Labs Live.
Hit that like button.
And hit us up.
RT, now that I'm not in the home office every single day, maybe I can drop in on some of your solo sessions if I can do it.
Dude, if you can pull off one of these, even just a gray at the office, and you just want to come talk markets with me, I mean, I like, I'm down to sit, but often Hxro Labs Live is just me like rapping about charts. I'd much prefer to have you. So literally anytime, bro. Even if it's like a Monday and you're like, bro, let's just go live. We'll come up with like a new little thumbnail and we'll fire it up.
I like it.
It's basically the only thing I have to do these days other than my own shit. So trading. So
Yeah.
all right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful day, and always play from a position of strength. See you later.